Well, welcome and good morning, everyone. We're so glad and excited that you're able to join us for our presentation this morning about the School of Education. My name is Meredith Call, and I serve as the Director for the Office of Parent and Family Services at UAB. And we're very excited that you're able to join us for today's webinar presentation. This is one of the part of the summer webinar series. The goal of today's presentation is to share with our family members whose students are interested in the School of Education and all of those opportunities that will provide to learn about the services, the school itself, where their students have taken advantage of and where their students have gone on to. So thank you so much for joining us for today's presentation. Before we get started, I just want to make a few quick general announcements. One, this presentation is being broadcast both on the Zoom platform as well as off of our Facebook Live platform as well. So we want to make sure that this is an interactive and engaging platform. So at any point in time you have any questions, for those of you that are watching us via Zoom, if you would type your questions into the Q&A function, as well as those of you that are joining us through the Facebook Live platform, please just put your questions in the comment section. We are monitoring both of those sessions. With that being said, I do want to make sure, family members, that when you are asking your questions, please be mindful that this is a live session. So we want to make sure that you don't put in any type of information that would be identifying for your students. So that could be your student's full name, email address, Blazer ID, anything along those lines, because we want to make sure we maintain the rights and privacies of all of our students. But with that being said, I want to go ahead and turn over the presentation to Kacie Kilpatrick from the School of Education, so she can tell you all about the wonderful world within the School of Education at UAB. Kacie?
Thank you, Meredith. And welcome everybody, all of our friends and families in the School of Education. We are so excited to be with you today. This is a little weird for me. I'm used to seeing people's faces and responses, but we're going to make the best of it. My name is Kacie Kilpatrick, and I serve as the Director of Recruitment, Scholarships, and Student Engagement for the School of Education at UAB. I've been in this role for about a year and a half after serving almost 7 years in admissions. So I've been in higher ed a while. My favorite part of this job, though, is I love the recruitment side of it, working with students in the prospective student stage, helping them through the application process and the admissions process, because that's what my background is in. But I'm really lucky to be able to follow them throughout their whole 4 or 5 years at UAB, and really being there as a support system for them. So today we're going to go over kind of the who's who in the School of Education. We're going to go over School of Education scholarships, how your students can be involved on campus and in the school. So let me go ahead and share the presentation with you all. All right. So first, I really want to take a second to thank you all, for being here today, but really for sharing your students with me and with everyone in the School of Education. We have an amazing group of students. Most of you know that we have the Department of Curriculum and Instruction, so that's our teacher prep programs. But then we also have the Department of Human Studies, and that's where our kinesiology students are and our community health and human services students. And it's just a real treat for me to be able to work with them, help them on their academic journey, and really watch them grow during their time at UAB. So thank you for sharing them with us. It really is a treat. So I want to take a second first to introduce you to Dean Cypre. Dean Cypre has been with the School of Education for almost 2 years now, and she is actually a teacher. She taught secondary sciences, and so it's really interesting to be able to get her perspective in a leadership role from the classroom, but then also as an administrator and a leader and a woman in higher education. So I have really enjoyed that aspect of working with her. She's also very student focused. So every semester we have an event where we will invite students to just come and sit down with her. In the fall, we had donuts with the dean. I will always feed your students if we're bringing them to a School of Ed event. And so the whole building smelled like hot Krispy Kreme donuts and coffee. And so students just sat down with her on the couch in the lobby. And then this spring, we had an event called Pop In with the Dean, and it was a popcorn bar with a bunch of different yummy toppings. And it's really an opportunity for her to sit down with the students, talk about things that are going well in the School of Education that we need to keep doing, but also things that we need to improve on. We really want our students to be heard in the school, and so this is just one opportunity. You'll also see her walking through the halls of the building a lot, and she will stop and talk to anybody. So tell your students, if you see Dean C. Prey walking down the hall, please stop and say hi to her. She loves meeting our students. She loves hearing students' stories. And she's just a really good person to know and to have on your side. So definitely encourage your students to do that. Another really exciting thing happening in the School of Education right now is that we're going to be in a newly renovated building starting this fall. While we've all been home quarantined, people have still been working on our building and getting it ready for us for the fall semester. This is actually a photo of the building that we're currently in. It was the first building ever built on campus, so we're a little sad that it's going to be knocked down, but it's definitely time for us to get a new space. We're going to have state-of-the-art classrooms, a Starbucks machine that everyone is really excited about. There's going to be a little market where students and faculty and staff can grab a sandwich or a salad in between classes. The most exciting part for me, though, is when you walk into the building, there's this huge space where students can just gather and hang out and study. I'm excited for it because I'll have a centralized location for all of my student events. But like I said, we're moving in there this fall semester. We're planning to have a big open house where we're going to invite friends and family of the School of Education. So definitely be on the lookout for that. We can't wait to welcome you all into our new space. So these people on this screen are probably the people that your students are going to see the most often during their time at UAB. This is the Office of Student Services. So this is where all of the academic advising and things like that are going to be happening. So I just wanted to take a quick minute to introduce you to the people that your students are working with every semester. Starting on the top left is Miss Tashara Walker. She's the Director of the Office of Student Services. We call it OSS for short. And she also assists with teacher certification. Miss Mary Norwood and Michelle Peterson are the face of the School of Education and of OSS. They have been at UAB for years and years. I think Michelle has been in the School of Education for about 20 or so years. So they're going to be the ones, if you call the office, if you walk into the office, they're going to be there to greet you and welcome you with open arms into their space. Akandria Tarver, she also does certification for teachers. Miss Shanithia Johnson-Wright, she actually does processing for our graduate school applications. And we're going to talk about grad school options for your students in a little bit. So you'll definitely want to get to know Shanithia. And then the bottom row is our academic advisors. So Miss Vanetta Hardy, who's the Assistant Director of OSS as well. She advises secondary education and community health and human services. She also worked with kinesiology students in the past. She's super knowledgeable. She's so hilarious. Me and Vanetta actually started off in our undergrad as theater majors. And so you'll find me and Vanetta cutting up in the hallways, singing and dancing. She is a hoot. Miss Jasmine Jean advises kinesiology students A through L. Jasmine actually also used to be a teacher as well, so she has that perspective from the classroom. Mr. Christopher Scott, the only man in this group of powerful women here, and he's a trooper. He's going to be advising kinesiology students M through Z. And then our newest addition, Miss Kelsey Thomas, she's going to be advising elementary education and early childhood education. So definitely encourage your students to come and visit this group. We have a very holistic approach to academic advising. So it's not just your students registering for classes. We want to check in on their mental health, their physical health. We're making sure that they're studying and have the resources that they need to be successful. So definitely, if nothing else, please make sure that your students are setting up these appointments with OSS. They can choose a 15-minute session or a 30-minute session based on their needs. But this group too is so student focused, and we will do whatever we need to do to make sure that your student is successful. Speaking of resources, I always like to mention these to families just in case, because sometimes tutoring has a negative connotation with students when really it's just a benefit that more students need to be taking advantage of. So I want to mention them to you. We always mention them to our students that we're working with, but sometimes, you know, they need that extra push from a parent or a sibling or a guardian. So these are just a couple. There's so many more resources too, but the Vulcan Material Academic Success Center, they have free tutoring for pretty much any class on campus. Right now, they're located in the education building with us, but they're going to be moving soon to Stern Library. We have the Math Learning Lab. I should have spent more time there. It's in Heritage Hall, room 202. We have a University Writing Center. So they will even go as far as to help you brainstorm ideas for a topic to write about. So it's not just reading a paper and checking for grammar. They'll help with all of it from the beginning to submission. And then the last one that a lot of people don't know about is the School of Education librarian. So we have a librarian in Stern Library that's dedicated specifically to our students, whether they are in a teacher prep program or a human studies program. So when I met with her a few months ago, she said, you know, students will have an annotated bibliography due where they have to have 10 or 15 sources cited, and she is there to help them find those resources, those journals, those books. So she's definitely not taken advantage of as much as she needs to be. So make sure that your students know that they are available to you. Of all the things that I get asked the most about from parents and relatives is money. So I definitely wanted to take some time to talk about our School of Education scholarships. These School of Ed scholarships are available through the general scholarship application, which is called Be Smart. And I have the link right here for you, so you might want to take a picture of that. There are over 30 scholarships available to our students, and they are based on a lot of different things. So we have a scholarship for a computer if one of our students doesn't have access to a laptop. There are scholarships for each individual major. They're for future educators that are specifically interested in special education. So a lot of different options. And what I hear from students is, well, I don't meet 100% of the requirements. Go ahead and apply anyway, because sometimes we don't have any applicants who meet those requirements. And so we'll go into the pool of students that hits most of the requirements. So encourage them to do this. They do have to reapply for scholarships every year. It's just like the FAFSA. And these scholarships are stackable on top of any financial aid or any merit-based scholarships that a student is receiving from UAB already. They have to reapply every year, I mentioned, and the scholarship application will open up again for fall 2021 on October 1st of 2020 with a deadline of February 1st, 2021. So I went ahead and put that here too. I will send your students so many reminders. So I send out a student newsletter every month. That will start back up again in August. And I will every single month remind them with the link from August up until the end of January. It'll be in that newsletter every single month. Also, I'm going to share with you all later our social media handles, and I very much encourage your students and yourselves to follow our social media because we'll be posting scholarship deadlines and other information there as well. I don't have this on my form, but with COVID-19 and all of that happening, if you have applied for financial aid in the past, but weren't eligible for anything, and let's say due to COVID-19 you got laid off, or let's say now you have another student coming into college, you can file an addendum to your financial aid application and be reevaluated. So I'm definitely not the expert on that. Our financial aid office handles that, but I did want to mention it because in these times of uncertainties, we want to make sure that you have as many resources as possible. So I also want to take just a little bit to talk about graduate programs in the School of Education. Besides money, the next most asked question is, what is my kid going to do after graduation? And luckily, in the School of Education, we have a really high job placement percentage for majors across the board, for teacher education, for kinesiology, etc. But if they are interested in graduate school, we have a lot of programs too that they can maybe take as their next step. And I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into certificates on the next slide. But we have traditional master's programs. So let's take kinesiology, for example. The majority of our kinesiology students want to go to physical therapy school. Physical therapy school is very competitive. So we have a master's degree in exercise physiology. And so let's say a student doesn't get into PT school the first try, they can get into this graduate program, and the next time they apply, that PT program is going to be looking at the last 30 hours that they completed. And if they have completed some graduate level exercise physiology courses, that's going to make them much more competitive for a physical therapy or occupational therapy school placement. So that's an option. And then obviously with secondary ed, elementary ed, early childhood education, we have traditional master's programs for that as well. For those students who do not have an undergraduate degree in education but are interested in the teaching field, we have an alternative master's program available for early childhood, elementary ed, secondary ed, special education. And then we also have education leadership. So a lot of our teacher prep students are more interested in the administrative side. Instead of being in the classroom, they're interested in being a principal or a superintendent. And they do have to work in a classroom for a couple of years before they can apply to this program. But it's a really good option for students interested in that next step. And then we also offer PhD programs in a bunch of different programs as well. So this is a list of the certificates that we offer, but I want to point out the top 3 in particular, because they have new programs that your students can actually complete during undergrad. So with Community Health and Human Services, there's a new health coaching certificate. And then in the teacher prep side, there is a special education certificate and an English as a second language certificate. What's cool about these 3 programs is that a student can complete 12 hours, so the certificate program, during their undergraduate career at an undergraduate cost, and then those 12 hours can be applied to the master's degree in ESL, the master's degree in special education, or the master's degree in community health and human services. So at that point, you're almost halfway through a master's degree. And for those of us in education, we know that a master's degree is like an automatic $5,000 to $7,000 pay raise. So super important. It's also really important for the special education and ESL students who are interested in that specific field. Because it's not listed as an undergraduate major, it's a great option for them to go ahead and start digging in right away during their time in undergrad and go ahead and graduate with an undergraduate degree and the specialized certification. I will probably have questions about that, and I'm happy to answer those. But right now, I want to move on to my favorite topic, which is student engagement. So we know from research that students who are involved in different extracurricular activities on campus are going to be more successful during their time in undergrad and after the fact. You are learning communication skills, you're learning leadership skills. And so this is really where I get to see our students grow as human beings the most, while also having fun and enjoying their time in undergrad, making a lot of friends. So these are just a few that we offer in the School of Education that I wanted to mention. The first is our honors program. So we offer these for kinesiology students and education students. This honors program is separate from the UAB honors program, but you can do both. These honors programs, students apply going into their junior year at UAB, because we want to make sure that they're successful in those core major classes, and we require a certain GPA for them to be admitted. The benefit of this, though, is that they're required to do research. Undergraduate research, we know, is huge at UAB, and it's no different in the School of Education, and people are always kind of surprised to hear that. But we have some students and faculty doing some really amazing research. The students either get to work with a faculty member, or if they have an idea of something that they want to research on their own, they still have that faculty support. And then our students get to present at the UAB Undergraduate Research Day. And it is so exciting. My background is in communication, and I love public speaking and nonverbal communication and things like that. And so for most of our students, this is their first time like presenting in a suit in front of hundreds of people. So it's really exciting. And then something to note too, if your student is majoring in kinesiology and they're interested in physical therapy or occupational therapy, we have a 100% acceptance rate into PT school from our kinesiology honors program, which very few people, organizations, schools, whatever, can say that they have a 100% of anything. And it might not always be this way, but for right now, we're shouting it from the rooftops. So it is competitive, but to have that almost guarantee of being admitted into PT from honors is huge. And it's really that research aspect that sets those students apart from other applicants. We also have student organizations for every major in the School of Education. My favorite is the School of Education Student Ambassadors. We call them SOSA. And so I started this organization last fall because as a recruiter, students and families that are prospective students like to hear from current UAB students. And so that was something that we were really missing in the School of Education. So these students help me with recruitment events, but then they also are super important when it comes to student engagement events. So the donuts with the dean and the pop-in with the dean, they're huge with homecoming. And these are a couple of pictures. So the top left is some of our girls who helped me with UAB Day this spring. The picture under that, the guy in the bright green polo, you'll see more of him in a minute, when we were having the ribbon cutting for the School of Education walking trail. Lucas got to participate in the ribbon cutting as the SOSA president. And then the right top picture is a group of students that competed in the Gurney Derby at homecoming. If you have a student, I'm just going to throw this out here, who loves to run and is super competitive, please let me know, because the Gurney Derby, these kids run up and down a street with the gurney that you have to decorate. And it is so competitive, and I need faster people because we didn't come in last, but it wasn't great. But this group killed it and had the best time. And then the bottom right picture is our homecoming float. It was UAB's 50th anniversary. And so we did a big birthday cake. It had 50 candles on it. And then the presents that are around it, we wrapped up School of Education t-shirts and pencils and all of our swag, and we gave people presents as we were walking through the parade route. It was so much fun. Y'all don't tell anybody, but I really want to do a flash mob this year. So also, if your students are good dancers or choreographers, or if they just want to participate and have fun, also send them my way. And then there's also a Get Involved form on the School of Education website. And so this is just a way for students to reach out to me and say, hey, Kacie, this is what I'm good at. This is what I'm interested in doing. What can I be a part of? Because I have connections outside of the School of Education too. So if they want to be involved in the transfer organization or the gaming organization or sorority and fraternity life, I'm happy to get them plugged in there as well. So you can tell we have a little fun in the School of Education. We love it. So this is Lucas Riley, and this is a statement that he gave us about his time in SOSA. If y'all want to read over that really quick. Lucas was actually a transfer student that I worked with while he was at Jeff State, and I was working in transfer admissions at UAB. So he and I have worked together for about 4 years, I guess. And so he was looking for some leadership opportunities in the School of Education. I was like, well, I'm starting this organization. Would you want to be a part of it? And so he really took it and helped me recruit members for the program and really turned it into something special. And he's graduating in August. I'm happy, but also a little sad. And so he's looking at either going into physical therapy or the nuclear medicine technology graduate programs at UAB. So at least I'll still get to see him around a little bit. And then this is Savannah Swindle. She is actually the president-elect. She doesn't know that, so I hope her family isn't watching. If y'all are, don't tell her. And so she's actually a part of UAB Teach, which is a STEM education minor. So she's really majoring in math, but she's still gonna be able to get her teaching certificate through us. She was also a transfer student. You can see here, she was presenting her research, and she does so much stuff, y'all. She was in the Miss UAB competition and did really well. I hope she's going to do that again this year. She's a math tutor. She's in the School of Ed Student Ambassadors. And then she also teaches spin classes in the rec center like 4 days a week. And actually, she did a class for all of our ambassadors, and y'all, they said it was so hard. So she's just so precious and so sweet, and she has a lot of really good ideas to really move the ambassador program forward, and she's got a lot of really good ideas for events and things like that. So super excited to see where she takes it. So these are our social media handles. Like I mentioned earlier, this is a great way for you and your students to stay up to date with information from us, including important deadlines like scholarship deadlines, TEP deadlines, things like that. But then also to highlight our students and our faculty and the research that we're doing. And we do academic advisor spotlights. So I definitely encourage you all to connect with us, and then also stay in touch with me. This is all of my information. You can see I got quite a haircut before quarantine happened. And so I love meeting with students' families. For me, it's really cool to get to see where they come from. So feel free to reach out to me anytime via email or phone call when we're back on campus. Stop by and say hi. I'm always here to answer questions that you all have. I'm kind of like a go-to for very random things, and I don't have all the answers, but I can at least point you in the right direction. So definitely please feel free to reach out to me anytime. And now I'll be available for questions.
So at this time, I do thank you, first of all, Kacie, for sharing and giving us all this great information and opportunities. I do want to make sure family members know that the presentation is being watched we're monitoring both Facebook Live as well as the Zoom side of things. So for anyone that has got questions, please feel free to put them in. If for the Zoom participants, it goes in the Q&A function. And for our Facebook Live participants, if you have any questions, just put it in the comments section and we'll happily share those. But Kacie, I know that you have so many great resources and the students that are taking advantage of it and looking and doing some really great things both on campus and beyond. So thank you truly for taking some time today to kind of walk us through all of these opportunities and programs that are available to all of our students as they're starting at UAB and the success that they can have once they're here.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of my students this past semester in my first year experience class that I had for two semesters is really interested in the ambassador program. So I know that is something that is resonating and and it connects with our students. So
I'm so glad to hear that. That's really exciting.
Yes, so your messages are, the students are engaged and wanting to continue to find more ways to get engaged. So thank you for everything. If we don't get any questions, I do want to just remind everybody that this presentation is going to be both on our Facebook page as well as we will put it up on the Parent and Family Services website. It will be there for you to share this information with your student. Again, Kacie had some fun hidden facts on this. But it is available for you to reshare with your students or someone else that you want to make sure knows about all the opportunities that are available within the School of Education. And I just want to once again say thank you so much for doing this. It was really a great presentation.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This is a lot of fun.
Thank you. And I want to say thank you to all of our participants that were able to join us both on Facebook as well as through Zoom. And I hope that everyone has a wonderful day. And if you have any questions as a result of this presentation that come up afterwards, please don't hesitate to reach out to the Office of Parent and Family Services. I know Kacie is also very willing to have you reach out to her. And we are here to continue to help connect you on. And we have multiple webinars for our family members that are going to continue to happen throughout the rest of the summer, including some next week on financial aid and scholarships. I know Kacie was talking very specifically about some School of Education ones. This is going to be much more of that broader process and policies, and so make sure you sign up for that. We have a student health one this afternoon, so make sure you join us for that one. So there's plenty of opportunities to continue to learn and figure out the next steps as you are getting your student ready to start at UAB. That is everything from our end. It doesn't look like we have any questions, so I just want to say one more time, Kacie, thank you so much for doing this, and I hope that everyone has a wonderful rest of their day.
Thank you so much. Y'all have a good day.